What's up, family, and welcome back to the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Before I start today's episode, I want to take the time out to shout out my new listeners in Canada, United Kingdom, Ukraine, and South Africa. I so appreciate you and welcome to the Melanin Wellness Podcast family. I'm your host, Corey, and today we're talking all about energy, specifically how to get more of it without relying on endless cups of coffee or crashing mid-afternoon like your phone on 2% battery. I'm raising my hand. You can't see it because I feel judged. Here's the truth. If you feel like your metabolism has hit a wall, it's not broken. It just needs better fuel. What we eat plays a huge role in our energy levels, hormone balance, and our gut health. And today I'm going to be breaking down the best foods to keep you feeling energized and the ones that might secretly be draining you. Oh, and before we dive too deep in, if you're ready to start fueling your body for real energy and not just quick fixes, I've got something special that I created just for you. It's called the Holistic Nutrition Cheat Sheet, and it is packed with simple, delicious swaps to help you eat for sustained energy and wellness. Just check it out. It'll be in the show notes. All right, now let's get to it. But before we do, y'all already know how we do over here. We always begin every episode with 30 seconds of gratitude. So today I am so grateful for the things that we often take for granted. That's the ability to walk across the room, to reach out and grab my morning cup of tea, to drive my car, to pick my kids up after school, to see everything that I need to see, to hear, to breathe, to feel. These things we take for granted so often because they come as second nature. And we shouldn't take them for granted because not everybody has these abilities. And so when you are living in a space of gratitude and you are showing gratitude for even the smallest things, you are opening up the possibilities of so much more abundance and blessing. It also shifts your mood. I don't know about you, but when I am living in a space of gratitude, like I am just feeling so happy and so upbeat. Because to be honest, y'all, we got enough bad news and negativity as is. We don't need to add to it. Now, that was more than 30 seconds, and I know this because it always is, and it's all good. It is all good. Now, let's get into it. So, food equals fuel. What are you actually running on? We're going to start with a little reality check, right? Your body is like a high performance vehicle. If you fill the tank with premium fuel, which are nutrient dense foods, it runs smoothly and without a hitch. You feel great. You feel energized. Your skin's glowing. But if you dump low quality gas into it, a gang of processed junk, it sputters and slows down. Primarily, that's your metabolism saying, listen, I do not have the energy for this. So the key to sustained energy isn't about eating more food. It's about eating the right foods. We want steady blood sugar levels, happy hormones, and a gut that's actually working with us, not against us. So just because you're eating more foods does not necessarily mean that it's quality unless you are making those very intentional decisions about your diet. Because if you're just taking in more food, it's not necessarily doing anything but potentially creating fat stores, which is not good for any of us, but especially as we age and we tend to become a little less active. So what are some of the best foods for energy, hormone balance, and gut health, you might ask? I got you. Let's talk about the MVPs of energy and metabolism. So, but before we get into that part, let's talk a little nerdy stuff. I know y'all are like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" Yeah, we gotta understand these things. So, food provides your body with energy in the form of chemical energy derived from carbs, healthy fats, and proteins, which are broken down through metabolism to produce ATP, which is the primary energy of cells. Now, I know this sounds a lot like a bio class right now. In fact, some of my kids are actually in bio, so this is like really echoing for me. But understanding how your food gives you energy is important for you so that you'll know how to eat and what to eat for optimal wellness and energy. So now that we understand that small pocket of science behind energy and the foods we eat for our bodies, here are 4 energy boosting foods that you can start adding to your diet today. So number 1, we're going to talk about the protein-packed powerhouses of lean meats, fish, eggs, tofu, and beans. Not only do they keep you full, but they also stabilize your blood sugars and fuel muscle recovery. Like a lot of people think that proteins are only for people who work out 6 days a week like I do, or 3 to 5 days, or muscle builders or bodybuilders. No, protein is for everyone because our muscles need the protein for recovery and to continue to grow. When we do not have enough protein in our diets, our muscles will begin to break down, leaving us open for things like weak muscles and breaks and tears and injuries, again, especially as we get older and are less active. But the bonus of protein is that it helps to curb those afternoon snack attacks. Who would have knew? But it's because it keeps you feeling full and satiated. You won't be as quick to go for those sugary treats. Now, I do want to make sure that I preface this before I go any further, that a balanced diet consists of your healthy, nutrient-dense foods, but also your favorite treats. So when I'm working one-on-one with clients, I tell them that looks roughly about a 20-80. 80% of your diet should be nutrient-dense foods, with that 10 to 20% being available for your cakes, your cookies, your chips, your sodas, whatever it is that you like. But the key here is that it all stays within your daily calories. That's a whole different topic. We're not going to get too deep into that. Just remember that. Energy boosting food number 2, healthy fats. These are for hormone harmony. Avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil are like little hormone regulators. They keep inflammation low and they help your body actually use energy efficiently. And that's because healthy fats break down much easier than saturated fats. Now, a lot of people don't know the difference between healthy fats and saturated fats because you've been told for so long that fat's not good for you. Too much saturated fat is not good for you because it can lead to things like clogged arteries and heart disease and high cholesterol. And we want to avoid those things at all costs. We want to do our best to avoid those things. So healthier fats are more easily digested by the body. And that's the reason why they should be a key part of your daily diet. Energy boosting food number 3, fiber-rich carbs for gut and brain power. So we're thinking sweet potatoes, quinoa, berries, and leafy greens. Now, these help to keep your digestion smooth, prevent blood sugar spikes, and help to keep your brain sharp. Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands the importance of fiber-rich carbs, because oftentimes when you start dealing with things like constipation or stomach aches or stomach sensitivities to certain foods, the first thing that we often want to do is we want to run for a prebiotic or a probiotic. However, if we are getting enough of those leafy greens and fruits in our diets, we are going to get the natural pre and probiotics without the added supplements. So those who may be more anti vegetables and fruits will probably have more of an issue with stomach and gut issues than someone who regularly incorporates fruits and vegetables in their diet. Just a little. Yeah, because most people don't know that our foods contain their own natural pro and prebiotics without the necessity for an outside supplement. So, energy boosting food number 4 is going to sound so basic, so cliche, so repetitive. I know, but we must go here. And we are talking about hydration, hydration, hydration. Dehydration is the fastest way to feeling sluggish. So if you're running on more coffee than water, it's time to balance that out. Because actually the caffeine in your favorite drinks, your coffees, your sodas, can actually dehydrate you more, leaving you feeling thirsty, tired, and sluggish. And oftentimes, to be honest, sometimes when you get headaches, it's because you are dehydrated. Now, there is a little caveat about water that I want to give after I give this last piece of this tip. So if plain water is just like, you're like, this is boring, I need something more than that in order to drink the necessary amount of water I need, try herbal teas. You guys know I'm a huge proponent and advocate for herbal teas because they do such amazing things for our bodies. Coconut waters, if you like those, or fruit-infused water. I was one of those people that I just did not like water. Like, to me, it was nasty. I don't, some people are like, it doesn't have a taste. Maybe that was the problem for me. So what I began doing is I began making fruit-infused waters, and it actually helped me to exponentially increase my water intake. One of my favorite recipes is to chop up pineapple slices, put it inside my mason jar, and then pour my alkaline water, especially when I need kind of a detox for my system. And alkaline water does the trick every single time. And I was downing water like crazy. However, we've all heard the old quip of 8 ounces of water, 8-ounce glasses of water every single day is what everyone should be taking. But that is not necessarily true, because that statement does not take into account the various heights and weights and a person's bodily makeup, because some people's body actually have more water in it naturally than others. And so, y'all, from experience, I'm telling you, it is possible to waterboard your kidneys. So let me tell you a little story. I tell you guys all the time that the things that I talk about are not things that I have not learned from experience. Well, this is one of them. I remember last summer I was drinking so much water. It was all I was drinking, and I was just so on my fruit-infused waters, and I was just drinking. It was really, really hot here last summer, so it was very important to stay hydrated. However, I kept noticing that I was feeling a little lightheaded, and I was getting these really bad headaches, and my urine, I know TMI, was the color of water. So immediately I went to go see my doctor, and he laughed and he said, "You do realize that you're waterboarding your kidneys." I didn't realize that was such a thing. And that is when I discovered that you do not have to drink that much water, because that much water is not prescribed for everyone. I am a very petite woman, small in stature. And so that much water is toxic for me, whereas it may not be toxic for my 200-pound, 6-foot-tall son. So everybody's is different. So you'll know how much water you need. Your body will begin to give you signs that it's too much. Like one of the signs that I had was that I began to feel bloated and nauseous, and I had no appetite whatsoever. So your body will let you know when you've reached your limit, and that's when you know, okay, that's the ideal amount of water that I need to get in. each and every single day. Oh my goodness. I know, y'all. Now for the fun part. The foods that may seem innocent, but are secretly working against you and your metabolism. We've heard most of these before, but it never hurts to have a refresher. So number one, we are talking about those ultra processed carbs. I am talking white breads, pastries, and sugary cereals. Those are just a few. They cause this quick spike in energy, but then bam, you crash and you feel even worse, which often is what we equate in the corporate world as the 3 p.m. slump. And usually that's what's happening to us. And so if you work behind a desk, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can remember those days so vividly when I worked in corporate America. Those were the absolute worst. And I found myself reaching for things that would only give me another brief spike in energy. And then I would feel that much worse by the time I got off from work. So try to keep some good snacks for yourself on hand. You can keep one good thing is sourdough bread. It's actually very good for your gut. So sourdough is amazing. I put some almond butter on top or some peanut butter on top. That's an amazing snack in the evening. Or rice cakes. Rice cakes with chocolate hummus has become one of my favorites. I'm absolutely addicted to it. Like, I never was a proponent of hummus until I tasted that. Y'all, we're talking about like tasting like brownie butter. It's absolutely delicious. Don't knock it till you try it. The next up on this list are your sugary drinks and energy drinks. They promise you energy, but they often leave you feeling jittery and dehydrated. So swap them out for something like a matcha latte, a herbal tea, or just more water. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not finna be drinking no matcha latte or herbal tea when I'm working out, okay? I do dip my toe in the energy drink pool when I need it. So I'm not going to sit and act like I don't do energy drinks. I just want to caution you to not make those a habit because they contain a lot of sugar. Most of them do. Some of them do leave you jittery. The one that I take, it doesn't leave me jittery, but I also don't drink the whole one because I don't need it. And I only use it when I'm going to do a particularly tough workout and I feel like I can't quite make it through because I may be tired from not getting enough rest or various things that happen in my life. So I don't make a habit of it, but just be very careful about the energy drinks because there was a study out about those energy drinks that they were having some negative effects, very scary effects like people having heart attacks and things of that nature. So just be very, very careful and do your research before you dabble into that pool if you must. And finally, we are talking our fried and heavy foods. I love fries and potato chips just as much as the next person. They are actually my comfort food, but they take forever to digest and they leave you feeling sluggish instead of satisfied. Now, one way that I get around this is I use the formula I was telling you earlier today. 80% of my diet, 80 to 90% of my diet are nutrient-dense foods. And so with that 10 to 20%, I do allow myself chips if I need them. Usually I only need them if I am going through something and I'm anxious about something or I'm stressed or worried about something. That's my comfort food, like I said. So I typically reach for those. But what I do in order to prevent myself from just going off the rails is I'll get these little small, they have these little small, super small sandwich snack bags, or I'll take one of the smallest containers that I have and I will put some chips in there and that's my limit. Once I've reached that limit, once they're all gone, there's no more. That keeps me from just eating and eating and eating. And to be honest with you, I'm typically satisfied. And I think it's a mental thing because when I'm looking at it, I'm saying, that's it, that's all, no more. So I don't know. Try that. Maybe see if that works for you when it comes to the things that you know are your particular weaknesses. All right, family, it's time to put this into action. Y'all know how I do. This week, I challenge you to swap just one of your processed foods for a nutrient-rich whole food. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you swap your morning pastry for a protein smoothie or ditch your sodas for some fruit-infused water. Something small like that. And remember, the holistic cheat sheet, the holistic nutrition cheat sheet has a list of delicious swaps. So you've got nothing to lose. Click that link, download that, and that can help to give you some ideas, some inspiration of things that you might can swap. Because sometimes that's all we need is just a little nudge and a little bit of inspiration and idea, and you're good from there. So that will be available for you. Like I said, the link will be in the bio. And if you take on the challenge, please tag me on social media. I am at the Melanin Wellness Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. I cannot wait to hear from you. I can't wait to cheer for you on. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, share it with somebody who needs to hear it, and rate the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps the show to reach others. And if you would like to support the show monetarily, you can buy me a coffee. Not literally, but there's a new platform that the show is on, and it is called Buy Me a Coffee. And it allows you to support the show with monetary donations as little as $5. I'll have the link for that in the show notes as well. Well, that's it for this week, family. Join me next week as I'll be celebrating Women's History Month with some pioneering Black women whose contributions are still being felt in our lives today. Stay well, family. Talk soon.